Hello. Oh, I guess it's just me. Seems like our friend Candice has disappeared for a second, but welcome back, everybody, to the behind the scenes portion of Twitch Pitch, the very first pitch competition here on Twitch. We're a little early today. It seems like we're my co-judges are running a smidge behind. There is one of them. Hello.
Hello. What's happening?
You all right? You look a little disoriented.
No, I'm just trying to figure out where everybody else is.
I have no idea, but I like your t-shirt.
Yes, it's a little homage to my home state. Yeah.
Very, very on brand. Very cute.
Yes, as I'm sitting here in Detroit with my opening day box from our lovely landlord here at our executive housing. They've sent me snacks and actually, you can barely see it, but it's orange cotton candy and locally made lemonade and a cozy for my, you say cozies or koozies?
I don't use them. I have no idea.
You don't know? Okay, yeah, not a beer koozie. Sorry, I think it's a beer koozie.
I think it's koozie.
I don't say anything like that, but in a little tiny pennant to put, I guess, somewhere. So go Tigers.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it was very kind of them. So I have snacks to eat while we're doing the show today. But yeah, where's that one guy?
I don't know. I feel like this could turn into like Blue's Clues or Dora really quickly.
It could.
Like, have you seen Brian? Where's Brian? Like pops up from.
Yeah, this is that moment where everybody's like, well, why wouldn't Candice know? Well,
Well, you're both executives that, have lives.
Yeah.
Did you see this one study that just came out that Americans are spending 30% more time on their phone than we were like 3 years ago?
Is that during COVID is the number?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm nervous about the whole thing. Someone said to me today that sitting is the new smoking.
Oh, yes, it is. 100%.
Which is exactly, I've been walking a lot more since it's gotten warmer, and a little out of breath.
Oh no.
I think it's a combination of just working too much and sitting. And just it's kind of cold where we live. So
yeah, it's pretty cold. Let's say today's kind of nice. Yeah, I've had to get into this groove of for the first couple of hours of my day at work, I can be in a spot, but then after that, I have to go stand up and work standing up somewhere. And then I have to go somewhere else. Like the idea of me sitting at my desk all day, it's just no longer an option. It makes me feel crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything exciting happening today?
Well, there's a bunch of rumors in the tech universe. I don't know how much we want to share those rumors. But I guess one thing we can talk about that is confirmed, the team at Root AI just got acquired by App Harvest. So
no way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Came out with one of the first robots that does not bruise fruits and vegetables. The founder is also a Brown alum, so shout out to them. Just got acquired by our friends down south, down below in Kentucky, App Harvest.
I love that. That's so exciting. And we've got some friends at one of the funds that invested in App Harvest. Well, actually, two funds that we know of.
Yeah.
So Naria and Endeavor. So good for them. That is so cool.
That is very cool. Yeah, I think it was a $60 million deal. Is that public? Yeah, that was public. $60 million deal. And it seems like everyone's really, really excited about acquisition.
Okay. I have a really strong feeling that I may know exactly what's going on. So can you handle it for a minute?
Absolutely. Me and the internet, we're best friends. Right,
All right, be right back.
So we're just going to kick it here. This is really what happens in real life, folks. So our lives are incredibly busy, as everyone's are. And sometimes meetings run over. Sometimes you're, in a cab or in an Uber running to another meeting or whatever. So it's fine. We just get to hang out here. Marlon, you should come on live and humor me for a few minutes while we wait for our friends to come back. I don't want to hear any excuses. Come on down. Come on down for The Price is Right. Hello.
Yeah.
So question for you, not to put you on the spot, but since I was thinking about this whole spending more time, like more screen time, what are the most used apps on your phone that aren't your inboxes or Slack?
I mean, probably text messages, social medias.
Mm-hmm. What are your preferred social media channels?
Probably IG.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Is it just us today?
Nope, he's coming. He's coming. Let's just say it's really tough fundraising. And right now we're burning the candle at both ends. And when you do that, sometimes your body shuts you down.
Yeah. Let's take care of yourself.
Yeah. So we're going to get there. And he'll be here in a moment. Just might be.
That's all right. That is all right. Yeah. So Candice, I asked Marlon, what are the apps that you use most on your phone that aren't your inbox, that aren't Slack? And I want to take out messages on that too, and aren't like text messages.
The CNN app, the Apple News app, Instagram, and TikTok.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why in my head for you, I just assumed you were going to say a meditation app. Or like do you use any of those like Calm or Headspace? Yeah, see Marlon, in my head, I feel like you are in that community. I don't know why.
And I read books on my books app. Yeah. No meditation. I mean, I do self-meditation. I'm Buddhist, but I don't do a guided app. Yeah.
I would love to learn how to meditate. I've tried many times and I can't get there.
Where does your monkey mind go?
It goes into like my to-do list. You know, I always end up like 2 minutes in. I'm like, oh, I have to get this thing done and this thing done. And then tomorrow I got to work on this. And
you have a word that helps you to recenter, to go back to empty?
Well, I'll go back and then I'm right back in the to-do list.
Have you tried breathing exercises to get you through it? Like counting, like, the up 4, hold your breath, down 4, hold your breath, and like kind of do that for 5 minutes. It really will shut you down.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've done that.
There's like a box. I don't know if it's called square breathing or circular breathing. I can't remember what it's called.
I think that's circular breathing.
Circular breathing. It's a shape. Well, hello, Brackeen.
Hello.
This is the best episode ever.
Oh, it's actually going to be the best episode ever because we have some pretty good pitches, and one of them may be a hometown hero for me. So, no pressure to them. I don't even know if they know this, but no pressure.
Okay, let me just say though, I know that this is probably not appropriate, but Lex, you look great tonight. The color is That color is a great color on you.
I'm glad that you say that. We should, maybe pursue a sponsorship from Shein, where I got this top and where I get most of my wardrobe that isn't from Amazon for the show.
I love it.
All right. I feel like, let's get the show started. We'll be back in a second.
We're a company and a venture capital firm that invests in companies run by women and minorities, particularly when they're away from the coast. I'm very, very focused on the Midwest. You are watching live the first pitch competition on Twitch, where you, the viewer, have an opportunity to vote for a company that you like best.
So every episode, we have 3 judges, plus you, the audience. You also get to judge each pitch. After each presentation, you'll see a cute little box pop up with a Twitter link for you to vote for if you would invest in the company yourselves.
During round 1, we watched as the startups presented their pitch deck in 5 minutes or less. Then the judges began their Q&A. After we selected viewer-submitted questions for the founders to answer, in the end, the audience and judges had the opportunity to vote in the poll below for the company they like best.
Candice, do you mind if we start?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here again for season 5 of Twitch Pitch. This is episode 2 of season 5. This is the very first pitch competition live here on Twitch, brought to you by your very favorite venture capitalists here at Lightship Capital. So every episode, we're going to see 2 really great companies go head to head to win the grand prize of $25,000 for who has the best pitch. Audience, we're so excited that you're here with us today. Every episode, your voice is very important. You get to vote alongside us for the companies that you would possibly invest in. That really helps us as we make sure we determine every company that gets the most votes for the end of the season. I get a vote, Brian gets a vote, the audience gets a vote, and Candice gets 2 votes as our chairwoman in chief here. And we get to tabulate all of those for the grand finale at the end of the season, where the best 3 companies go head to head for the grand prize. We see 12 companies every season from all across the US. We're super excited to see the companies here today. As a reminder, the format is we show a pre-recorded pitch video from the companies, then we bring them on live for a question and answer portion from us and from you, the audience, as well. While you're watching, any thoughts, comments, or questions you may have for the teams presenting, put them in the comment box below. And it doesn't matter if you're watching us here on Twitch, if you're watching us on LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever, throw your comments and questions down below and we'll make sure they get asked of the teams tonight. So with that, we're going to get started. But before we do, I want to give a special shout out and thank you to all of our incredible sponsors for this season. So every season we're brought to you by some really great teams, especially the team here at JP Morgan Chase, a global leader in financial services for companies, institutions, and governments in over 100 countries. We're really thankful also for the Ohio Third Frontier. They work with innovative startups across the state, making Ohio the destination for the best tech entrepreneurs. And we're thankful for the Hillman Accelerator, which is the very first accelerator for underrepresented founders here in the Midwest. And it just happens to have been founded by our very own Candice. Don't make that face. And we're also really excited about our other sponsor this season, UPS. UPS is a global leader in supply chain logistics and shipping for millions around the globe. So in addition to our great sponsors, the show is brought to you by us, the team. I'm Lexi. I love all things health tech here at the fund and on the show. Brian, who's a general partner here at Lightship and leads all of the charges in AI, machine learning, and computer vision. And Candice, who's the other general partner here at Lightship, in addition to her starting Hillman, and she is a champion for all things CPG, e-commerce, and brand building. So with that, let's get started. We're going to meet our very first company of the night, Skylight.
Hi, I'm Talia Alexander, co-founder and CEO of Skylight. So, I was a renter in Brooklyn, and my landlord wanted to raise my rent. I went to my neighbors and found out they were paying less and that my apartment was supposed to be rent stabilized. I then went back to my landlord and negotiated my rent down 25%. In that moment, I thought, what if there were a website where renters could go to find out how much their neighbors are paying? So I put a team together and created Skylight. Skylight crowdsources rent prices and calculates what renters could be paying. This is what we call fair rent. Also, property managers can leverage fair rent to better price listings and reduce vacancies. So we have a minimum viable product where users can enter their rent data and see what others are paying. Currently, we are crowdsourcing this data in 5 major cities. We plan to expand and add apartment content, gather ratings and reviews, and make it hyper social. Then we can leverage AI to generate real-time property, neighborhood, and city sentiment analysis. We have several monetization paths. We will start with building subscriptions for property management companies at $50 per month. For building subscriptions alone, we have a serviceable available market of $340 million. We believe we can get 1% of the market in the next 24 months, totaling $3.4 million. There are other players in the property data space, but a lot of rent data out there is inaccurate. We are bringing new rent data to the industry, and we believe fair rent will be more accurate. So this is our team. My co-founder Dave and I both have engineering backgrounds, and Ariana is a digital marketing expert. Thank you so much for your time.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Who'd like to start with a question?
I will get started. Hey, Talia. It's Talia. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, just double checking. So tell me about this campaign where you're crowdsourcing information from folks in 5 cities. What's that process and what are you learning so far?
Yes, so we have put out ads in 5 major cities to attract renters to our MVP to enter their rent data, like how much they're paying a month, what their address is. They don't have to put like their apartment number or anything. So it is a bit anonymous. They just have to put their building information. And what we are finding, and what is not surprising in this time of COVID, is that rent prices have dropped tremendously in your major cities like New York, San Francisco. For example, San Francisco has been down 30% for 1-bedrooms and studios. But a lot of people are shifting and moving out to other areas such as like Fresno and Sacramento, and rent prices there are actually going up 10 to 15%. So it's a really interesting time right now.
Candice, you're muted.
Of course I am. Tell me who you believe your competition is right now. Because I have noticed that there are companies that are sourcing kind of ratings and reviews of their landlords, like Who's Your Landlord? But could they make a quick pivot and do something like what you're doing today, Talia?
I mean, they could make a pivot, but we have what we call our secret sauce, our special calculation of how we come up with fair rent. So, I mean, they may come up with something, but it's not going to be exactly the same as ours. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm terrible at this tonight. Sorry. Who's next?
First of all, great job on the pitch. I love when you can understand a business just quickly and concisely in just a few slides and a great delivery. And that's what I saw here. Not easy, right? It's always easier to go on and on and on than to be concise, but you accomplished that. I have a question about similar but different to Candice. The market is everywhere, right? And the market, in fact, the challenge here is like people rent everywhere on every continent, right? And these challenges kind of go up and down for a variety of reasons. Right now it's COVID, but there could be lots of different reasons, different places. So how do you know where to start, where to go deep, where to spend your time? As far as which cities to start in or what's next?
You're absolutely right. And that's one of the reasons we're really excited about this, because this could grow to be international. So we're trying to calm ourselves down. And like we said, we want to start out with those top 5 cities, your New York, San Francisco, DC, Seattle, Minneapolis, places where you see rents going up quite a bit. So that's where we're starting to kind of hone things in. And then from there, we want to kind of expand out to those places like I'm talking about, like Fresno, Sacramento, places outside of DC. Like I myself have relocated to Hyattsville because of the pandemic. We want to expand to those areas next where we're starting to find people are shifting from the major cities to other smaller cities outside of there.
And your core customer, I'm curious about kind of who they are demographically, and also what is their trigger? So like in your story, it was a kind of move intra, right? Like it was like you're not actually moving, you're in a situation where you need to know more information about the building you're in, right? Other folks would be changing cities, changing states, changing buildings. So what is the reason someone actually looks for this data?
I think people look for this data because one, they want to, I mean, even if you're moving to a new city, you want to still pay like a comparable price. You know, you don't want to pay outrageous rent. And so I feel like it's still kind of the same motivations for people that are moving intra and out of the city as well.
Thank you.
Good evening. Tell me a little bit more about the different prongs of the monetization strategies.
Yes. First, we're looking at, like I said, we're working with property managers now to have them subscribe for $50 a month. But we also will be sitting on a huge trove of data that we could possibly supply to bigger companies like Zillow or Bloomberg. This type of data could be used for trading. This type of data could be used for a company like Zillow when they're analyzing some of the different paths that they're taking. We also could we're looking at generating reports that we could sell for $1,500 a month. So there's a lot of different, opportunities for us.
Absolutely. Quick note before anyone has any other questions, anyone who's watching, if you have any questions or comments about the team, about the company, put them in the comment box below, no matter where you're watching, and I'll be sure to ask those questions momentarily. Candice?
Cool. I get excited about this stuff. So one more area I think of monetization that's possible for you is really large private equity or public companies that are trying to figure out if these different REITs or landowners are having exposure to lower rents, right? So I may be looking at a property trust in Pennsylvania and they own 1,000 units. And then you would be able to say, hey, and those 1,000 units that they own, they are at a high risk of having to lower rents in this percentage of their buildings, right? And therefore, you should think about that when you're making investments into that REIT. So that data could be very valuable and very pricey for that kind of customer.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Go ahead, Candice.
No, I don't have another one. I was listening to Brian, and I think that pretty much covered what I had.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't about giving advice, but I will also say I think a SaaS platform for the real estate investor community here could be huge, and they have the kind of pockets where they'll pay $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year for this kind of data, right? Like, I know of a few people who are trying it. Even publicly, like services like AirDNA, that data is incredibly valuable. And that's more catered toward the Airbnb market for rents that are reasonable. But you can get really nice enterprise clients and a nice recurring revenue to even support what you're doing with your other revenue streams as you continue to grow and build out your AI platform and things like that, your sentiments platform too.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No problem. So Black Coffee asks, is your software proprietary?
Is our software proprietary? Yes, it is.
Boom, succinct, great.
Yeah, I wonder who that Black Coffee is, because I know a Black Coffee. I'm not going to shout him out or anything, but we talk to him all the time.
How'd you know that was Black?
Either someone we know or someone we don't know.
Right? I don't know. I wonder if it is the one we know. I feel like we know 2 Black Coffees.
Oh, we do know 2 Black Coffees. So the chairman of our board, his last name is Coffee, so Mr. Coffee. And then there's a coffee shop in our town in Cincinnati called Black Coffee, owned by our friend Means Cameron. So it could be either one of them.
Absolutely. So everyone who's watching, if you would like to vote for Skylight, text the number 3 to 203-408-6432. Once again, if you would invest in Skylight and would like to vote for them, text the number 3 to 203-408-6432. I'm going to ask this one other question because we do have time. Rodney Swope wants to know, the first paying customer are property owners, $50 a month per building. When and what might individuals rent pay for your service?
When and what might individuals? Oh, no, we want to keep it free for individuals.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. Now we get to do the fun stuff behind your back.
Good night. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Well,
all right, team. Thoughts, Brian?
Loved it. Real problem. I love this kind of we all benefit by using a platform, but other people pay for it. You know, I'm just into that. I think it's good. It's good for growth because users just get so much value, and then they also become your emissaries and your marketers. So if you could, it's a hard model to get right, but in her case, it could work.
Yeah, I mean, Lexi, I think I've heard from you that through your experience kind of moving into a new town that you've been around landlords who've maybe potentially overcharged you, right, in a building that you were in.
You mean the building I'm in right now?
Well, yeah, I tried. I'm trying to be nice.
I may or may not pay the most rent out of anyone else in this building.
Yeah.
Or not the biggest apartment.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm not certain what that's about, but yeah. So it's obviously a problem to be solved. My only concern is how do you protect against being just a feature versus a full company, right? So I heard the other things that she's deciding to do, like reviews, etc. But there are other people that are doing that. So I'm afraid that at some point someone could come in and just add that feature, and then there is no company there. So just working through how do you protect in that space.
Yeah. And I think it's not bad for her to be just a feature. If she has the best data to be the feature that plugs into everyone else's platform,
yep.
If she can license the feature to everyone else who's crushing it, you know, the normal suspects, the Redfins, the Zillows, the Street Easies, whomever, that could be huge. And once again, when you license things like that, they're also willing to pay a very high premium for it on an annual recurring basis. It's my inner VC. I'm always trying to get people to recurring revenue. And I know it's not for everyone, but I always try to see how can we get people more comfortable, more predictable revenues in their businesses early on.
Yeah, she's got to only sell annual licenses, right? Mm-hmm. You can't come in here, get the data, leave. Like, I mean, you can, but you're going to pay for the whole year.
3-year contracts.
There you go. 3-year license.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to bring on the next team. I will say this is a non-traditional Twitch pitch video, but I loved it. So I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Oh, I don't know what this means.
How many of you know if you are inhaling radon the moment you're walking through? Raise your hand if you can tell me how many times you've inhaled it. You can't, because most of you don't know what radon is. But you're going to learn today. You and whomever is sitting in your house right now are at risk. I'm going to let you sit with that for a second. Our goal is for you to leave this pitch competition with more than just saying you had a great time. We want you to leave and say, hey, Afterrhome may have just saved my life. I'm Michael Floyd, and I am the founder and CEO of Afterrhome. I have over 10 years experience in the home inspection industry, and my co-founder, Dr. Felder, has over 10 years experience in urban and social policy. Name an inspector. Better yet, I'll make it easy. Name an inspection company. You can't, because finding a good inspection company is a bigger mystery than locating a Loch Ness monster. Hell, I know, and I'm in the inspection industry and I still don't know the true cost. But that's why we created Afterrhome. Afterrhome uses artificial intelligence to scan your neighborhood, checking for environmental hazards. In addition, we offer remote live stream inspections to combat the hazards of COVID-19. Afterrhome technology seeks to prevent putting families and houses affected by high levels of radon, lead, and asbestos. We do more than home inspections. We save lives intelligently. That's how we create environmental justice. But we also have investors here, so let me tell you how we make money. Over 5 million homes are sold a year. About 90% of home buyers get a home inspection that averages $500. If we capture 1 million of those homes in 5 years, that's $500 million. We offer a realtor rewards program that allows realtors to offer their clients priority booking and exclusive services for $14.99 a month. Our smart inspection report self-analyzes and sends reports to repair contractors so that you can book repairs without ever making a phone call. Can't find that on Angie's list. Our platform is fun, functional, and so engaging that more than 200 realtors have signed up in anticipation for our April launch. We are raising $250,000 on WeFunded to help us with our advanced features and save lives in the DMV. Before I go, I have one last question. Did you learn today?
Welcome to the show, Lenora.
Hi.
What an incredible video.
Thank you. That was my founder, Michael. We're very unconventional at Afterrhome.
Loved it.
Thank you.
Who's gonna go first?
I'd like to hear you laugh through the questions, actually, Candice. That would be amazing.
I snort when I laugh, so I can't go first.
That was phenomenal. I'll go first. That was phenomenal. And I learned, and I truly did. And where do I start? So this is an area where people just simply don't know a single brand, to your point in the video, where it's like, okay, I'm going to pick up, I'm going to call XYZ, right? There's no trust in whoever you get because they're probably either given to you, handed to you, like there's no fidelity between the user and the person that you're going to have like in the house, like literally in the house, right? So with all this new learning that the user would have to do, right? Because this is all new. How do you help the user to see why this is so different? Why, the benefit's clear, right? But how do you help them to get to trust the benefits you guys are offering?
Right. So I think the important thing is that when we even just look at the user experience, we were very deliberate about how we wanted the website to look. It's very playful, it's bright, because when you think about inspection, you already have this very rigid connotation. So we wanted to change that for one. But as far as the functionality, when you come on the website, the user would put the property address into our website. And our artificial intelligence would actually scan that neighborhood data using open source data and from the EPA, and they would actually come back with results that say, "Hey, this area has a history of having high lead or high radon. You should get this inspection." So just from that, when you're someone who doesn't know anything about home inspections, I know for me, I thought everything was included. But when you have, it all comes up and say, hey, in addition to this home inspection, you should get a lead inspection. You should get a termite inspection because it has that history. I know for me, I like facts. So using that historical data will show me, hey, this platform is doing more than a regular home inspection company. It's giving me some information because now I know that these are even things I have to think about where I'm just worried about if the roof is going to cave in. But now I know I have to think about things like radon, because what if my kid has asthma? What is it? Do I need a mold inspection? I'm in Maryland. We need to be making sure it's not moist. So things like that. And so we want to use that factual information to gain their trust. And then also, when they get more than one inspection, they get a 20% discount. And we also provide just some different options in terms of the payment. They can pay 50% at the time of booking, and the rest they can split over 3 months. Because we know that the home buying process is very costly. And a lot of people don't even know that the home inspection is an out-of-pocket expense for the potential home buyer. So you didn't even buy your house yet, but now you got to pay for this inspection. So we want to help them by building that trust and saying, you know, not only do we give you this extra information and we seek to educate you, but we're also going to make it affordable, because everybody should be entitled to be able to get these things and not have to skip it because they don't have the money up front. So just being able to hit those pain points for them. And then on the other end, we changed the way inspections are, because it's not just some man showing up in a Dickie suit that is not talking to you about your home inspection. He's actually explaining, or he or she is actually explaining your entire home to you. So not I'm just checking the roof, but I'm checking the roof because these are the things that you should be looking for. During these times of the year, these are the things that's happening. So we're seeking to educate them as well. So they not only just get an inspection, but they get a whole home education process.
I want to talk to you a little bit about economic justice, which is a theme that you covered in the video, which is wonderful, not talked about enough, and not talked about enough in pitches. So again, comprehend you. We know that particularly your African-American customers are more likely to live near highways, live near chemical plants, live near people with OSHA violations, right? So how does that play a role in how you build the product?
So there are two main aspects. So first, my founder, Michael, he's from Baltimore. And if you know anything about Baltimore, Baltimore has a historical issue with lead poisoning, childhood lead poisoning especially. And what people don't realize is that a lot of that, the adverse behavior that happens in children is because they've had lead poisoning. It literally changes your chemical constitution and you become much more aggressive and you're unable to function. So a lot of what we see in urban cities like Baltimore is just a domino effect of an environmental issue that happened. So that was something that was very, very serious for us, to be able to provide free lead inspections for homes, like underprivileged homes with children under 10. So a portion of our revenue goes so that we can do that. Before the pandemic started, we actually were in talks with the Baltimore City Health Department to try to help them with their prevention part, because they told us that they don't really get to see the kids until they have lead poisoning. So they don't have enough on the prevention side. So we want to be able to provide that education around things like lead poisoning, and also provide those inspections so that then the abatement can happen with the city. But just as we were developing this, we just realized like the theme right now is all about sustainable cities. So how do we build a sustainable city if we're not even starting on the individual level where the person is home? It's not even environmentally sound. So you can have, the roof may not cave in, but you got lead, you have high lead, you got high radon, you got termites, all these things. You cannot have a sustainable city if you don't have a sustainable home environmentally. So we are trying to, really show how you can use technology in order to start at the individual level and spread out so that you can then have sustainable homes and then sustainable cities.
Thank you.
All right, Laura, you talked briefly, or Mike talked briefly about a WeFunder crowdfunding campaign. How's that going? Why did you all decide to do it?
Okay, so we first began raising on Kiva, which was a great experience. And through that, we were introduced to the Maryland Neighborhood Exchange. And so they helped us to find some different crowdfunding sources. And, it's no secret that when it comes to investment, it's very difficult for Black founders to get investments. So we wanted to be proactive about it while we are seeking other investments. We wanted to at least look and see what things were available to us. And we wanted to also be able to encourage just people, everyday people, to know that, hey, you can be an investor. I have a pretty sizable Twitter following, and a lot of them, they were like, hey, they put angel investor in their profile now because they invested in my company. And it actually empowered them to look at something other than a GoFundMe, to be able to think about ways that they could diversify their portfolios and also support businesses of their friends or people that they know. So it was just both twofold. One, it was something that we could access because we wanted to be able to access the capital to be able to build the AI into our platform. It has been a journey, very difficult at times. We were able to quickly, get out about a little bit more than 10% of what we were raising. But it is a little bit difficult because you have to have a very diversified network, and we don't currently have that. But we're pushing through and, trying all different avenues to get our business out there and hopefully attract more people. So we are fighters. So it's something that we're definitely going to keep pushing.
Awesome. And then who would you identify as your closest competition in this space?
Okay. So my founder would say nobody, but this is funny, but we were thinking there are things like Angie's List and Home Advisor where they're using more so that contractor, that model where people can just kind of just go on and just find someone. I would also say, which is a little bit more unconventional, just realtors, because realtors have their network. And most home buyers, they find their inspector from the realtor. So that, they have that connection. So we have those things, but more so like Home Advisor or Angie's List because they use technology. And that's a big thing of ours. There's another company called Presto Intelligence that does use AI, but they don't use it in terms of any data. It's more so they just use it, a bot texts you and you can book through texting. But other than that, you just have your regular home mom and pop type home inspection places, but they don't use like any technology. It's just a website that you can book, but the inspection is still very much traditional.
Cool, thank you.
Hi, Lenora, your friendly neighborhood Baltimore lady here. So tell me a little bit about the geographic rollout. Obviously, I care so much about my home. Shout out to Lombard Street. But what are we thinking about as we expand across the U.S. and maybe even beyond?
So this is very interesting. I'm glad you asked that. So our particular models, first, we wanted to start in Baltimore and the reason in Maryland. And the reason why is because our model is not just one that integrates technology, but it completely changes the way inspections are done. Ours is collaborative. We have, like I said, normally now someone who in a Dickie suit shows up and they're not talking to you. They just have a clipboard and you have to follow them around for 3 hours. So for us, it's different. When you have an after-home inspection, it starts with a consultation where he's telling you, or he or she is telling you exactly what they're going to do from start to finish. And you're able to get that information about your home. And so with that, we wanted to start out, of course, in the Maryland, DC, Virginia area, and then move out to places like high demand cities, especially in our area, like New Jersey, real estate capital, North Carolina, different places like that. And eventually every couple of years, we actually have a growth chart where we had states by the real estate demand laid out for the next 6 years. However, in the midst of doing this, the American Society of Home Inspectors actually reached out to us, and they said that they loved our technology so much that they wanted to give us access to their API, and they have about 3,800 licensed inspectors who are considered like the creme of the creme de la creme, and they want us to give them access to our technology. So in that way, we would have to more so pivot to more so a contractor type of role. But what we're thinking about is maybe giving them still being able to have like a more education kind of portal for those inspectors to show them how to do the after home model. Because for us, it's not just about making a whole lot of money really quickly. I mean, of course, we want that. But we still want to change the antiquated way that home inspections are done, where it's not collaborative. And we've even come up with during the pandemic, because I know for me, I don't want to be following no man around for 3 hours in a house. We have remote live stream inspection. So we have our inspector, which is wear a harness, and you could actually be right here doing your Twitch pitch and have another computer where you're given a Zoom link and you're able to watch your home inspection, and it can be recorded. And if you need to, check it later, you can do it now, but you can see everything that he's doing because he's walking around and showing you everything that they're doing. So we are trying to reconcile like how to do what is, an amazing opportunity, but still keep the fidelity of what we're trying to do in terms of the industry. So to answer your question, we want to start in our area, and every few years we have a number of states that we want to roll out to, but the opportunity to be a contractor and to grow immediately is there as well.
Absolutely. Perfect. Everyone, as a reminder, any questions or comments you have for the Afterrhome team, put them in the comment box below, and we will get to those shortly. So Carlos Jones wants to know, will the roadmap include both commercial and retail?
So that is excellent. So we definitely want to include those. We realized that around like July, we got a lot of interest from a lot of commercial entities. I guess like in Maryland, it was closed down, and now when the cities were reopening, they were telling us that a lot of the inspection dates were expiring and they needed people. And so we realized that that was definitely something that we want to do. It just will take a lot more work in terms of just creating a model specifically for those commercial spaces. But yes, we definitely want to do that.
Excellent. I don't see any other questions down here. Thank you so much, Lenora. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Woohoo. If you would like to vote for Afterrhome, if you would invest in this company, text the number 4 to 203-408-6432. Once again, if you would invest in Afterrhome, text the number 4 to 203-408-6432.
Thank you so much, Lenora. Tell Mike we loved it.
Thank you. I will. He's going to be
I'm going to
excited.
talk about you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, Candice, what are your thoughts?
First of all, it's so nice to have a slightly different pitch, right? That was highly entertaining and really brought across what they were doing. I would like for the next time, right, to see a little bit more of what they're doing. Lenora shared kind of toward the end this harness where you get to follow around your inspector. I would have loved to have heard about that during the pitch because it was kind of like the tail end. And while, Brian and I know our home inspector, lots of people don't. And it's something that I would want him to use so that I don't have to go out and just either just get the report at the end or follow him around. So I loved that idea. I don't know much about this space, and so I don't know who's trying to roll up inspections. We were familiar with the one company that she did mention, Presto Intelligence, from a program that we've done. So that's owned by a Black founder somewhere down south, and now I can't remember where. But I don't know much about this space, but I'm certain that it is ripe for disruption.
Brian?
Yeah, I like the way they're going about it. To your point about seeing the product, Candice, if you go to the website, it's actually really, really nicely done. The design's very good.
Yeah, I popped it in the comment section because, man, Mike with that Superman cape is A1. Yeah, on brand. So, I would have liked to have seen some more of that because I think that they actually excel in that area. Good design is going to go a long way with consumer. This is a truly like consumer product. So you want to really think about how accessible it can be. And I'm just think about the work that we do, right? We don't hear the term economic justice in pitches hardly ever, even though we're working in this space. So I'm sure no one else is hearing it much more than us either. So when I see it as part of a business, and it's not an add-on, but it's not a feature, but it's like it's a, how do you say that, Lexi? It's not something, but it's a feature.
It's
Bug, it's a feature?
I don't say that.
Okay, well, forget it. Well, yeah, when you see that built into the product that way, that's definitely impressive.
We always ask her, what is that again? It's almost, yeah, that's.
She's like, cooler than us.
Not true. What this company is doing is very, very important. I don't know how many, how do I say this? I think that there are some potential political hurdles to this doing really well across the nation more than anything else. I think that's kind of the biggest, and I'm sure they're expecting it. I'm sure that they're ready for it. That the political landscape surrounding why this industry has not changed in forever, I think is the most difficult thing for them. And I'm sure that they can overcome it, but that's something that I'd be really interested to see how they're thinking about tackling that, especially when you go into, listen, Baltimore's a fairly corrupt city, so they're starting in a really great place to do this. But in other cities and states where there's a really, let's just say, tight-knit network surrounding this, how they're going to be able to overcome some of those artificial hurdles that I'm sure we placed on them soon. But it's super important work that they're doing. I mean, asbestos, lead, especially on my block growing up, was huge, unfortunately. And I'm excited to see someone actually tackling it from an important perspective, in addition to the monetary gain. But the lifelong health risks for these really older cities that have these really old, pre-war houses.
Awesome. Well, that was great, you guys.
Wasn't it? So shout out to both companies, actually, before we actually wrap it up, for being both Maryland companies. I
see what's happening here.
I actually didn't even realize it before I put them both in the episode. They were both from Maryland. So special shout out to all the founders building really great things in the DMV area. Love you all so much. And thank you everyone for watching another episode of Twitch Pitch. This has been season 5, episode 2. If you like what you saw, which I hope you did, come back and join us again on Tuesday, same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern, on wherever you're watching. So you can go right back to that spot on LinkedIn, right back to where you are on Twitter, right back here on Twitch, Facebook, wherever you are. Tune back in at 7 p.m. on Tuesday to see 2 more great companies compete for the grand prize of $25,000 and the claim to be the best pitch of the season and join the illustrious Twitch Pitch Hall of Fame. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us tonight. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. Bye.
Oh, we're going to get this thing wrapped up. We are doing so much better. It was almost 8:30 and I'm like, you guys, let's go.
Quick question, guys, though, before we go, since it was kind of the theme of the night, buying a house looks hard. Do you just have any comments on that? Through your experiences?
Okay, so I don't know if you want me to do this, but I might as well go for it. So Brian and I, since we just got married a couple of years ago, we've been going through the process of buying our first house. We bought our first house, but as we were doing that, we realized that there are certain neighborhoods that systemically block people that look like us from living there.
Say their names.
And so it's a concerted effort amongst the real estate agents. And so we've had to take legal action in certain cases, and then actually just chose a completely different neighborhood. And so we were able to find a less racist neighborhood in Cincinnati. I can't say fully un-racist because we just recently bought a investment property. And the neighbors sent me a letter and Brian a letter to let us know that they're not excited that we bought it. Yeah. Oh, you're on mute. You want to share more?
Can you imagine sending someone a letter saying that we're not excited that you bought a house in the neighborhood? Like how sick you must be?
I couldn't imagine having the audacity nor the time. No, absolutely not.
What about 3 weeks after you bought the house, they called the building inspections folks and said that your house isn't up to code? That's a letter I got yesterday.
What?
Oh,
it's even like It's just the amount of systemic bias and discrimination and just ridiculousness that we have to go through in every area of life, not just in raising capital as a founder or a funder, or just trying to get a regular job, or just trying to walk down the street or get access to accurate medical care. It's ridiculous. It permeates every aspect of your life in ways you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, you know, it's as much fun as that home purchase was, and it is always going to be an incredible buy. It was really tough because I found out who it was. It was really tough having to like go to that person's door and let them know that I know it was them. And moving forward, come talk to me like a neighbor would. But right now, I don't feel welcome. And being the only person of color within 30 houses, that just isn't fair. Right. And so for that moment, you go, every time I go up my driveway, I'm going to feel like this. So it's really not a fun process. And so, you know, sometimes you've got to go to, I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to really tell the truth here, but, you know, Cincinnati is in the like top 10 most segregated cities in the country. And so I decided to drive up to Detroit this week to be around more Black people. 85% of this town is Black. And I wanted to walk down the street and not be looked at funny today, to be truthful.
Sometimes, isn't it a shame that sometimes it's all you ask for? I just want to be able to like have my little curly fro out and walk down the street and not be questioned.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it took me a year in the place where I live now to not have people like try to close the gates in front of me thinking that I didn't have a code to get into my building. A year until that stopped happening.
You know, when we lived like really like in the business district downtown, I used to use one of those like urban grocery carts and take it to the Kroger downtown. And I've got one of those super long North Face coats. And so I drag my little thing along and like, I don't know, those coats are like not like inexpensive, right? And so people thought I was homeless. And so they'd cross the street to walk on the other side. And I'm like, is this really happening? Like, I don't cross the street for homeless people. And I definitely don't look homeless. So like, and even if I do, like, just don't do that. That's just not right. Everybody just needs to get their lives buttoned back up and be nicer to each other. I think we're slowly getting there, but we still have a long flipping way to go.
We do. We do. And on that note, I'm really excited about what's great that's happening in the world in terms of new property tech, new real estate tech, new home inspection tech. Excited to see some tech being brought to these antiquated systems to hopefully break down some of these issues.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. This is fun tonight. Let's keep doing it.
Maybe 4 or 5 more episodes in a row, and then maybe give away some money at the end. Who knows? We might do something crazy.
Do that.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. See you on Tuesday at 7. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.